Hi there, and thanks for checking out this video. I'm John from TennisCompanion, and today we're talking about what's in my bag and how I pack it. Before jumping in, I wanted to let you know about the TennisCompanion Vibration Dampener. Built with a uniquely formulated soft rubber compound, these dampeners will improve your racket's feel and enhance its sound. They feature specialized teeth to prevent them from falling out, thoughtful construction that fits all racket models, and a clean, lightweight design. Just hit the shop link below the video to check out all the details. Alright, so let's get into it. So if you follow me for any amount of time, you may have noticed that I'm a bit of a bag nerd. I love a great tennis bag. I love one that's well thought out, offers great customization and storage. I've done a bunch of reviews, handful on YouTube, but also just a bunch of written reviews as well. Growing up, I didn't really think too critically about my bag when I was competing in high school and college. Kind of whatever bag matched my brand is what I use, but these days I think a lot more critically about the bag I use and what I bring with me. Really quick hat tip to Brad Gilbert in his book, Winning Ugly. He has an entire chapter dedicated to really what you should bring in your bag, what you should carry, and the reasons behind a lot of that, and just being more prepared for a match. Something I've taken to heart since. Again, I wish I had taken that a little bit more seriously when I was younger, but it's just really not something that was on my radar. So hopefully what I review today, if anything, maybe gives you a little bit of inspiration for how you might think about the bag you use and what you carry in it. So let's start off with the bag itself. So this is the Geau Sport Axiom racket bag. This is a 9-pack. It's the second generation. 9-pack really refers to the amount of rackets that you can theoretically fit in it. As you'll see, I don't carry that many rackets. It really just giving you a sense for how much you can store within the bag itself. You'll see I carry fewer rackets, but I carry a bunch of other stuff as well. So we'll walk through kind of everything I have in there. Before I do that, we'll touch on a couple of things that I have on the outside of the bag. So on the very right side, I carry a hand sanitizer. For obvious reasons, this comes in handy all the time. I never found it very useful to have it inside my bag because you're gonna need it usually when it's, walking up to your bag, whenever that is. So having it on the outside is super handy. Have that with me at all times. Another thing which I wish I did not have to carry with me is a little pill case on the outside. This is for Excedrin migraine. I unfortunately do get migraines from time to time. You don't really want to be searching for those when you need it. They tend to come on fairly quickly, and the faster you get these down, at least in my experience, the better. So I have that right on the outside just in case if I'm playing, I get one that comes up, then I can get to that super quick. Another item that I do not carry in my bag but is super critical is a water bottle. So this thing's ginormous. It's a gallon, double wall, insulated water bottle. Rarely do I get all the way through this, but that's kind of the point. I want to make sure I have more than enough water whenever I'm playing, whether I'm practicing, recording a video, playing competitively, really anything. And again, like I said, every once in a while I'll get through this. If I'm playing and I'd be outdoors for a long time, I'll even bring a second bottle with me. But again, this is super critical to make sure I'm staying hydrated, and I don't really want to be searching for water. I want to have that prepared for me all the time. That, unfortunately, I've gone through so many different bottles. This is a kind of a knockoff brand. It's not anything. It's a brand called Hunter. Nothing special. I believe I got that on Amazon. But yeah, it works great, and something, having gone through so many other ones and having tried so many different things, it's just better to keep that outside of my bag, especially because of the amount of water that it does contain. So, moving on. So on the top of the bag, we'll go through in there. Check out what I got up top. So this is a shoe compartment. It is a ventilated shoe compartment, which is super nice. Shoe that I've been reaching for probably more often than not is the Asics Gel Resolution. This is the last model, the Gel Resolution 8. I'm testing the Gel Resolution, 9. That'll be a review I post pretty soon, but this is just an ultra comfortable shoe, super stable, and just really good all-around shoe. I have done a review of this particular one if you want to check it out on my channel, and look out for sort of the next one coming up for the Gel Resolution 9. Good all-arounder, again, like I said, super comfortable, great shoe. That can also fit, if I'm gonna throw in, after I'm playing, I'm gonna throw on a fresh t-shirt or something, you can throw that in the bottom, then throw your shoes on top. Like I said, it's ventilated, so you can keep everything separate from the rest of your gear. Next up, let's talk rackets. So I keep a racket on either side, at least when I'm using this bag. One of the reasons is because it helps maintain the structure for the bag. Right now I'm only carrying 2. It's the same 2 rackets I've been using for the past few weeks, so let's check those out. Over on the far side, I have the Wilson Blade V9. So super excited about this racket. Big fan of the Blade series. This has been a great racket so far. I've been stringing with Luxilon Loop Power, but broke the strings earlier this week along with the other frame I'm carrying, so need to spend a little time restringing. I won't spoil too much because I do have a full review of that coming on my channel, so stay tuned if that's something that's of interest to you. And on the near side over here, we have the 2024 Babolat Pure Strike. Like I said, broke the strings earlier this week. Been stringing this with RPM Blast. Another fantastic update. We have been waiting for a while for this frame, so excited to be sharing a little bit more about this on my channel in an upcoming review as well. So like I said, stay tuned for that. So on this side over here, I have some grips. So these are Wilson Pro Overgrips, probably ones I reach for more often than not. Just a really solid all around, good tack, not too thick, not too thin, kind of offers everything. Got some finishing tape as well. And then probably one of the oddest things I carry in my bag, zip ties. So I play at a lot of public courts, and unfortunately the courts aren't always taken care of super well. And the thing that seems to suffer the most is the nets. So I will bring zip ties and zip tie them up if they're in poor shape. And then down here somewhere, I have my fancy dancy Kaiser Permanente measuring tape so I can measure the net as well and adjust it. Nothing crazy. I know there's way cooler measuring tapes and net measures out there, but that one's super tiny and fits in my bag. So kind of go with what works. On the other side, turn this guy over. Only carrying one thing on this side. This is a towel, pretty basic, right? I always carry at least one towel with me. Thing I'm always looking for, and I'm pretty picky about towels. This waffle kind of, it's a polyester cotton combo. I'm not a huge fan of straight cotton. It just doesn't absorb as well. It doesn't dry out as quickly. So kind of a polyester mix tends to be great. So this is one of the ones that I'm a huge fan of. This one happens to be from Vessel, another really awesome bag brand. So one of the things I'm really looking for with any of them has a loop. Every towel I carry with me for tennis has a loop, and I always attach a little carabiner to it because then I could hook it on the fence at the back, and that's something that I can really easily grab without having the towel on the ground. Yeah, so that's what I keep. This is also, just as a heads up, this is a golf towel, hence the hole in the middle. I noticed a lot of the golf towels actually work really well for tennis. They're kind of the ideal size in a lot of cases. Nike has a great one too, but this one from Vessel's worked out fantastic. So pop that back in there. This over here is a stretchy pocket, so it does give you a little flexibility with what you put in it. Right above that, we have another side pocket on this bag. This is where I keep some more delicate items. So we have a soft protective material in here. There's two kind of slip pockets. You have some sunglasses that I'll pop in there. Don't wear them on the court, but I bring them with me wherever I go, so they go make their way in there and I know they're safe. Also a cell phone pocket. And then two other items that I keep in here are my keys, so I can really easily grab them, as well as some AirPods Pro, because why not bring some good music with you when you're on the run? And that's about it on that side pocket. Now jumping into the main compartment. So let's see here. There's a lot going on here. I'll try to twist it around again, show you a little bit what's in here. So a couple different things. So this particular bag offers shelves that you can organize, kind of get your storage right. On the top, I have a packing bag. So these are great. These are compressible. This one is from Geau. Fits the bag perfectly, which is nice, but you definitely don't have to use these, as I'll show you. I had some other ones knocking around that I've used as well. So inside this one, always keeping a little bit of extra apparel with me. This hat never leaves my bag. White, reflects sun, nothing fancy, it's just a standard Nike athletic hat. I'm always keeping a white one with me. If I'm gonna wear a hat, which I usually don't, I want it to be something that keeps me cool as well. I tend to overheat. I never really wore hats a ton when I was younger, so whenever I wear them, I tend to overheat. I get an extra pair of socks. If I'm playing competitively, I'm definitely gonna carry more than one, but if I'm going out, I always wanna have a second pair. Even if I just change into them after playing, it's just nice to have an extra pair. So that's the sock game. Oh yeah, and these are the light cushion from Thorlo. I've been testing out a bunch of their socks recently, and they have some fantastic socks. There's socks that I've used for a long time, but they have some newer ones that I've been checking out as well. So jacket, so whether I'm warming up or cooling, kind of when I'm jumping off the court, if it's not a super hot hot day, I want a jacket that I can warm up in, get those muscles a little bit warmer, a little bit faster. I won't play with the jacket pretty much ever unless, you know, it just happens to be terrible weather, which means I probably won't be outside playing. But also just when you get off the court, I tend to throw something over the top just so that my muscles aren't cooling down too fast. It gives me some time to get to my recovery routines. So I will go with the jacket. This is a Viore outdoor shell. Super great jacket. It's super lightweight, very flexible and stretchy. So it's something that you can definitely not constrict it at all if you're out practicing. And then also just another t-shirt as well. So it never hurts to have a t-shirt, extra t-shirt. Again, some of these items, again, if you're playing competitive, you're probably gonna wanna tweak things a little bit. I'm probably gonna bring more apparel, more gear, maybe an extra pair of shoes. Again, there's gonna be a little bit of a difference there. So get this guy zipped back up. This is kind of where the packing cube portion of it comes into play. You can unzip one side, and then once that side's done, you can get the next zipper down below zipped, and it packs up really nice. And then there is a little pull tab on this side, so that's easy to grab. Cool. Moving on down, so I'll bring both of these guys out. So these are, again, another little packing cubes. Carry 2 of them with me. These are just great for organizing so you don't have stuff flowing around in your bag. It's always where you need it, so that works out super well for me. So let's go. This is one of my favorite ones. This is my snack bag. So a couple things in here. One, some nutrition bars. These are from RX Bar. These are by far my favorite. There's really nothing in them other than what they list on the front, which I love. I don't really want something that has a bunch of extra fillers, things that I don't need in it. I'm also gluten-free, so these work great for that as well. So these have egg whites for protein. You got almonds, cashews is gonna give you some, again, a little bit more protein. Electrolytes, dates also have potassium and more electrolytes in them. That's also a low glycemic food. So this is gonna give you more of like a energy push over a longer period of time. It's not gonna spike your sugar and then kind of fade off really fast. So that's why you see people eating dates on the court. I'm not a fan of bringing like the actual dates, although I think they taste great. I think having it in a bar form is way more convenient. These also do really well in the heat, so you know they might soften up a little bit, but they're gonna do perfectly fine. A lot of that is because of those dates. Keep a couple different flavors. My 2 favorite are the chocolate sea salt and the blueberry. Probably blueberry I go to more often than not because it's just a little lighter flavor, but again, super perfect for bringing to the court. There's also some sodium in those as well, which is great. Another electrolyte for you if you are playing on the court. So in terms of electrolytes, so that might be something I'm gonna have. And I should note, this, if I'm going to eat these, this is like small bites throughout. You know, on a changeover, I'm not gonna down one of these. It's gonna be something that I usually go to and I probably start eating before I think I need it to try to keep those energy levels high. I don't wanna hit a dip. I wanna make sure they're kind of staying strong the entire time. So I'll start biting into this, just a little bites over on the changeovers. I just don't wanna put too much in my stomach at once. And those are also handled really well. I don't seem to have any problem or weird reactions. In terms of electrolytes, I got a bunch of these in here. These are from ProMix. I like these, again, they're just super simple. There's not a lot going on in here. You have 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams magnesium. Got a bunch of electrolytes. Again, just keeping your body balanced. You're gonna sweat out a lot of this as you're playing. So these I'll dump 1 or 2 of these into the gallon. And then I'll also just keep them in here. Kind of find myself every once in a while reading this, to be perfectly honest, even when I'm at home, but I try to keep these in here at all times because, you know, again, I regret every single time I don't bring a little bit of fuel to the court. Even if I'm making a video for YouTube, if I'm out there playing long enough for a few hours, like these snacks come in massively handy. Another one that I've been really liking a lot, although it's a little bit more on the heavy side, is Bobos. This is the original oat bar from them. Again, another gluten-free option. There's not a lot going on in here. We have whole grain rolled oats, brown rice, coconut oil, cane sugar, vegetable glycerin, xanthium gum, sea salt, and vitamin E. It's pretty much a granola bar, a very simple granola bar. But again, granola is, or oats are another low glycemic food, so you're gonna get a more of a steady energy push with these. They worked out really well. Again, that's one if I'm like legitimately starting to feel hungry, I'll probably go to that. My RX bar is generally my go-to. And that is all inside my snack box. Moving on. So another bag, this is kind of like the first aid kit, but you also see it contains a couple different other extra things as well. I'll start with sort of more of the practical and we'll move on to each of those items. First one, Super Goop Play. So I'm gonna be honest with you, for the longest time, I wasn't turned off by this stuff, but I saw it everywhere. I know Maria Sharapova is a backer of the company, and I kind of ignored it for a long time, primarily because of the price point. This stuff is not cheap, but I have tried so many sunscreens, and I either have found they just get super milky on your skin, they get in your eyes, they ruin your shirts. The amount of shirts I have had gone yellow from sunscreens, I could do a whole video on that, which I probably will at some point. A little hack that I've learned with this particular brand, you can cut off the tip of this little container, buy their supersized version of it, and then just kind of pump it into it. You gotta be careful when you're squeezing it out because it does come out faster if you cut off the tip, but it's a way to kind of have a smaller one in your bag rather than carrying the other ones like pretty ginormous, so it's not something you'd carry with you. But this stuff is awesome. Again, pricey. I wish that it was like a little bit cheaper, but you know, once you find a good one, you just kind of stick with it. Another one, this is really a more of the after playing tennis natives deodorant. It's a spray deodorant. The reason for it being spray is because everything else melts in your bag. This is a sea salt and cedar, like the smell. I don't really care that much about like what I'm using here, but this is a good one. Again, biggest factor is it doesn't melt, and when I want to leave the court, even if I'm going like to the grocery store, so having a little deodorant in the bag never hurts. A couple other things. Tums. I rarely use these, but if my stomach's gonna get a little sideways while I'm playing, especially if you're playing competitively, being able to pop a couple of these guys versus having to take a major timeout or forfeit the match, definitely a huge win. Some Tiger Balm. Tiger Balm I've used for years. It's one of the most effective I've found for just some immediate kind of surface level pain relief. Works really good on your joints. So Tiger Balm I pretty much always have in my bag. Another one, lip balm. This one has SPF. I definitely recommend going with SPF if you're out in the sun a lot. This is just a 30 again. This is from Aquaphor. Nothing fancy, but when you need it and when your lips get chapped or just trying to prevent them from getting chapped in the first place, it's really nice to have in your bag. Couple wet ones. These are just some kill your germs, wipe your hands down, whatever it might be. Who knows, if you're on clay, it might come in a little bit more handy, but kind of the same concept as the hand sanitizer. Some athletic tape. There's about 1,000 uses for this. Definitely use this all the time. Comes in handy on the regular. So I usually keep a decent sized roll of that, and I'm constantly refueling that as well. If I dig a little bit deeper, I have a little kind of carrying case here. Nothing fancy, again, just keeping a couple items. So I have some kinesiology tape. I've been thinking about doing a couple videos on how I use kinesiology tape, primarily for arms, wrists, elbows, and then knees, as well as kind of ankle support. I don't use this stuff a ton, but I do whenever I'm getting a little feeling like I just need a little extra support. I've actually been using this a lot more, and I find it works fantastic. And so I'll keep some of these tapes in here. I also have some Next Care Band-Aids. So again, if you're getting a blister or something like that, having a good quality Band-Aid is definitely useful to have in your bag. This particular one is waterproof, so kind of their max hold 3M backed. These hold really well. No Band-Aid tends to be perfect, but being able to throw one on the back of your heel, on your foot, wherever you're getting that blister in the moment, super nice to have on hand. And then, you know, just because a little bit of Advil, you never know when you might need that. It's like having all these little items, just having these little tiny carrying cases is really nice. Keep everything organized out of the way. And then again, these also have handles, so you can shove them on in there, and then you can easily pull them out as well. All right, and now moving on to the bottom of the bag. So this is kind of where things get a little bit less organized, but some super critical items in here. This is a lot of warm up and recovery stuff. So let's start with the footlog. So footlog is really simple, silly name device, but a really effective tool. I usually use this before I step onto the court. You really put it on the ground, roll your foot over it. Super basic, but it's one of the best ways. You can use a tennis ball, you can use a lacrosse ball, but this just has a little bit of magic to it. Great to have on hand. I use it pretty much probably 3 to 4 times a day, to be honest. I wake up, I use it right before bed. I use this thing all the time. Another similar one, this is called the Original Stick, and this is their little travel one. They have a bunch of different sizes. You can get a little bit longer one. I have the kind of the medium size and the travel one. I keep the medium one at home. That one's a bit firmer. This one's a little bit more flexible and tiny to fit in the bag, but really just kind of roll it down. Probably more than anything, I'm rolling on like my backs, on the side, glutes, legs, critical on the legs. I actually found this out when I did a Susan G. Komen 3-day walk with my wife, gosh, probably 10 years ago. And we use this, you'd walk 20 miles a day for 3 days in a row. So it really puts a beating on your leg. And I was introduced to this then, and ever since, this has been another critical tool for my bag. So that's another good one in there. Yoga strap. This I use primarily for stretching. mostly my hamstrings more than anything. It's one I found with someone who's suffered with low back pain for years, having something that I can get into a neutral position on my back and then pull my legs up to do hamstring stretches really gently saves me from kind of like awkward muscle pulls and that sort of thing. There's a lot of obviously other great uses for those, but just giving you a heads up in terms of what I use it for the most. And then we have the most heavy but delightful device that I have in my bag is the Hyperice Hypervolt 2 Pro. This is something I've used muscle massage guns for years. I eventually upgraded to kind of one of the higher end models, and I will never look back, to be perfectly honest. This one has the heated head. It's an absolute delight. Use this top to bottom on my body before I play tennis and after, but also really just for any athletic activity. If I'm going for a run, before and after, the more I use this, the better I feel just consistently, hands down. So highly recommend these. Again, having used both the kind of cheaper knockoff versions and some of the end versions, I've also used Therabodies before a couple times. Every single massage gun is going to give you benefit. I can guarantee you that, but these guys just go deeper. They're a little bit like more of a firm punch to your muscles, for lack of a better term, with that percussive massage, and the battery life is fantastic. And I also like the weight. Having one that's a little bit heavier as you're pushing into your body just kind of helps aid in that massage, because you're doing it for, you know, in some cases, maybe 15-20 minutes, if you're like me and you go super deep with it. And then in the back here, have some tennis balls. So these are some Penn Championships. To be honest, not my favorite balls, but they carry them at Costco in bulk and I go there frequently. And so I often have these around. Again, probably not the ones I'd want. Probably be doing a Wilson, but these work great too and really just get the job done. And again, when you're using them a lot, cost is half the battle, right? I do have one more pocket sort of stashed away inside the bag, and this is a Velcro accessory from Geau that you can stick anywhere along the inside. I keep a few items in here, so I have some extra vibration dampeners. I have my Spinfire Pro 2 remote, that's the ball machine that I use. And then I also have spare batteries for the remote because I've had that die on me a few times and that's a pain in the neck. So, it's been a long video, so if you're still here, I appreciate you sticking around. At the very least, hopefully this provides you a little bit of inspiration for what you might consider stashing in your bag, the type of bag that you might be using. So if you found it helpful and you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.